Hail to the king, baby.
Hey everybody, it's Michael B, and it's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for another episode of Chillin' Chat with Michael B. So in tonight's episode, we've got two people from the community coming on, actually three, because I had to bring in one of these guys' handlers because he's a bit rough and rowdy, so apparently he needs a handler. But these are members of the community who have really stepped up and done some things that are outside the control of some of the bigger companies to really bring us some of the things we would love to see. And they're doing it for the benefit of us. One person started a company, one person's just a crazy hacker, and we love them for it. So it should be a very fun show. And a very big thank you to these guys for making home arcade in the community absolutely awesome. Welcome to Chillin' Chat with Michael B. All right, guys, before I bring on my guests, I do have a couple things I wanted to cover tonight, so just give me a second. I should have had this ready already, but it's not your first time here. You know what I do here on the show. So the first thing I want to cover, guys, is directly after this show tonight, our buddy B Kong is coming back to YouTube, Kongs Are Us, because he has received both Box 1 and Box 2 of his Alice Goes to Wonderland, Wonderland Amusements, Pinball. It's been a very long wait for this Kickstarter to get to people's homes, but the wait is now over. People have them in their homes. A lot of people are posting already. They absolutely love this machine. They're very happy with it, and it's good to hear. We had questions, of course, where this is built by Jerry, and Jerry's not exactly a pinball guy, but so far people are very happy with this $1,000 pinball machine. We're happy to hear it. Can't wait to hear what B Kong has to say later tonight. Of course, the funny thing about this is the reason Kongs R Us even has this pinball in the first place is because he actually didn't jump in on the early bird Kickstarter. They were all sold out. Then he made a bunch of videos convincing people to cancel their orders. Detroit Love cancels his order. Kongs R Us jumps in, grabs the early bird that came up because Detroit Love canceled his. And now here we are like a year later, and these two are collaborating. So this is going to be co-streamed, not just on Kongs R Us channel later tonight, but also on my buddy Detroit Love's channels. Go to one or the other after this show's ends. Give them some love and go check out the Alice Goes to Wonderland pinball machines. So that's really good news for people waiting on orders. And speaking of people waiting on orders, we've got an update about Iconic Arcade. Last week, a couple people made videos saying it's on the boat, and I made a video saying, well, not so fast, guys. It's at the port. We're not saying it's on the boat. Well, now we can change that. It is officially on the boat. Not only is it on the boat, but the boat has left port. So as you can see, gate out empty, gate in, load on March 2nd. Ulsan Express 610E is the boat that it's on, and the vessel departure happened March 3rd, 2026, 2:55. So no more delays, no more bullshit. The boat has left. So it looks like we're going to see these arrive April 24th, and as long as nothing happens weird in the States with customs or anything like that, you guys should finally get your iconic arcades early May. So great to see that news today about Iconic Arcade actually hitting the water. Hopefully, praying to God, this is not an sit-down outrun situation, and they sink to the bottom of the sea, and then Bobby Boo gets a bunch of cabinets to sell at a discount. So hopefully nothing else happens. You guys have your cabinets in May. So great news in Home Arcade. Now, speaking of great news in Home Arcade, I've got a couple guests I want to bring on to the show tonight. And basically, the whole idea is to get them on to let them talk about what they're doing, but also it's a big thank you for what they're doing as well, making Home Arcade really interesting, going to a level that the bigger companies can. Let's be honest, the bigger companies try to do everything they can to give us what we want, but there's a little problem that gets involved in all this, and that is there's licensing restrictions. We saw it with the WrestleFest cab, where unfortunately people that weren't under Legends contracts couldn't be in the game. Of course, we're seeing that with other cabs. No one can get Nintendo to work with them. No one can get the Williams Robotron license, or they're probably thinking about doing Smash TV. So then people step up and make their own versions of it. They do a very good job, and we as the community benefit. So thank you very much to these guys. Now I'm going to bring them on. First off, I've got to bring in my buddy Stock Jock. Stock Jock, hello, how are you, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. You know who I feel like, Michael B? I feel like chaotic BPR. This is like my third show in a week. I've got to that status now where I am now chaotic BPR.
Well, I feel like you're more like Kimchi with Kamala because you're the handler for G.I. Joel. I know he doesn't like, people and being out in public.
He hates people. Yeah.
You're his community marketer.
Well, I am the head sales and salesman for G.I. Joel Worldwide Industries. And so I will take all orders, and then we'll get him over to hit Joel eventually.
Nice. And speaking of the man, here he is, the man himself, G.I. Joel. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I'm excited because I'm in your Discord. I've seen lots of pictures you've been sharing about a cabinet I've been dreaming of since the inception of Arcade 1-Up, and they may never be able to do it. They may do it, but it's going to be a Smash TV. It's probably not going to be exactly what I want, but because of that, you are making this happen for people like Stock Jock, people like me, and the other tens of people who want this cabinet. Is that correct?
I'm hoping there's at least 10. 10 would be good.
So,
no, for sure.
We'll give you a chance.
And at my previous job, my previous corporate job, they didn't let me interface with the execs and stuff like that either. I had a handler there, so this isn't anything new to me.
He's always got a wrangler. All right, G.I. Joel, we'll get back to you in just a minute, but we have another guest here, someone who's just done something. Well, it's not done yet, but it's getting done. Something very awesome for the community. A lot of people very excited to see WrestleFest come to the Home Arcade community. Of course, like we knew 3-4 years ago when this talk started, there was going to be licensing restrictions, but we were hoping there was going to be ways around that. Of course, Buy Stuff came out with their Buy Stuff Android box, but that's a hardware mod, and not everybody wants to, put more money into it, gut their machine, and do all new kinds of new stuff. Wouldn't it be easy if we just had a soft mod to kind of fix these issues? And that's where this gentleman comes in, this man who just got off a 3.5-hour open fridge show. How did he book you the same night? Did he get you before me, or what happened?
No, he didn't. So he actually messaged me earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, you're too late." Mike B asked me to go on his show, and he was like, "Oh, that's okay." Like, I knew I should have asked sooner, and I was like, "That's all right. F Mike B. I'll go ahead and go on your show instead and just ditch him."
That's fair.
Trying to be family appropriate, but.
I appreciate that. I'll probably drop some F-bombs as the night goes on, but Mr. Encoder, don't worry about that. I mean, I'm not jealous that you went on Jay's show first. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
I heard you were jealous, though, that Danny did the WrestleFest mod first. That's what I heard that you were jealous.
I was jealous that you gave Danny the WrestleFest mod first. How dare you?
I did not, actually. I messaged you with it, but It's also public in the the alpha version is also public in the AA Discord, but I don't know if anybody wants to run it because it's crap. But yeah, so.
Well, you were kind enough to reach out to me afterwards because I was giving you a little bit of a hard time, and I was saying, "Hey, what happened here? How come I didn't get this mod?" And you were like, "I didn't think you want to do this till it was the final version." And you were
Yeah,
correct,
well, that was with
sir.
chaotic. Yeah, that was with chaotic that you gave me crap for.
Yeah, but
Mike B doesn't get jealous, right? You just become dead to him.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes.
No, you misunderstand. That's P-Dubs that does that.
Oh yeah, P-Dubs was Cornercade before Cornercade was Cornercade. P-Dubs always had the information first, and then if he didn't get it, he'd be like, "I don't care, it's out there now. It's old news. I won't cover it."
Oh, poor P-Dubs.
Oh, we love P-Dubs. Hopefully he'll be back pretty soon. We miss him on Super
Mhm.
Game Room, dudes. What a great guy.
Yep.
You want him to be a guest again? Is that what you just said?
No, we want him to come back, dear God. Arcade One Up's in the chat just dropping letters. Do they have a new alphabet machine coming out? I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's a speak and spell.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, guys. Sorry I didn't get to the chat tonight, but we got a lot of stuff to cover. I wanted to start with you, Mr. Encoder. Tell us all about this WrestleFest mod that you guys got going on right now. You're still working on it. It's in the beta stages right now, but give us a kind of oversight on, or a rundown on exactly what you guys are doing here.
That's hard to say, right? The goal of anything we do is usually just to unlock the capability to add more to what you already own without distributing intellectual property. In these cases, we are testing very specific games. So there are like this preset list of games that Chaotic or Danny were testing.
Yeah.
And that's mostly just to ensure that the cores that we're compiling and stuff achieve performance that we're looking for. But the official release obviously won't include any ROMs or games.
Yeah. And
So, yeah.
rightfully so. Rightfully so. Like, you know, that's everybody's job. Like, you are creating a form where they can basically go on and add as much or as little as they want, but you're not actually providing ROMs. I mean, that wouldn't be appropriate.
With the exception of this, the WrestleFest ROM itself is edited, so that is something that has to be reintroduced to the original, right?
Yeah.
As well as the WrestleMania, I think, has been modified.
That's right, yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's software where somebody on, I don't remember where it was. I think it might have been Danny's comments on his video actually asked if you could do without the pages, because you know how there's pages with different games and all of that, and they just want those stock games. That's all controlled by, I'm getting a little technical, but an XML file.
Yep.
And so if they just don't add more games, they don't show up. The pages will stay at that first screen, and you don't do anything. You just get normal WrestleFest and WrestleMania and so on, but the real versions of them running in RetroArch instead. But I can say that we've made it Danny proof. That is one thing I can say.
That's a miracle.
When he posted the video of it running, or his post or whatever on his YouTube, it was like that Xbox pop-up where it goes achievement unlocked, and it said, "You actually made something idiot-proof for once." I'm joking. I got to Josh Danny.
I will tell you now, there's a very high probability that either Stockchuck or James Hates Everything actually did the mod for him somehow.
Oh no, not me. No,
not you.
No,
well, it was James Hates Everything who did it.
No.
You think somebody drove to his house and did it for him?
Or
either that or he had Mrs. Cornercade do it.
Yeah,
well, that's probably more likely.
I would believe that. No, I'm just joshing though. But honestly, it should be one of the easier ones we release to do. I know a lot of people with our other soft mods have issues figuring out how to add those games, and that's something I want to simplify when we do release this. I want to make like a web page that lets you edit it easier instead of having to go into like a text editor and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you one of my favorite things about this. You give me a hard time all the time. I think it's Zoltan made the meme. He who does not mod,
Yeah.
because mainly what I want to do with this is like I love keeping things as stock as possible. Like that's one of the things I love about what G.I. Joel did with like his inline risers and stuff like that. Even though this is a third-party component being put in, you wouldn't know, right? It looks like it's just part of the cab. That's what I love. That's what I want to see from the modding community. So for me, that's perfect. And what I love about this is you've retained everything that makes this still a basic fun product. You still get the startup screen, you still get the same menu. You don't really have to jump into a main menu or do anything like that. Everything runs like it should. Well, why is the focus there on doing that? Is it for people like me, or what pushes you to go that extra mile?
So, I mean, had I been the one that was focused on the Blitz stuff, it would have been very similar to that instead of introducing our stuff. But ultimately, it's that there's this complaint that the game is broken, and some people don't even care to add games. They just want to fix that game. So why change the menu just to do that?
I think that's fair. I think like Stock Shock knows exactly what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to update the WrestleFest, and I'm going to update the Superstars ROM, and that's a day for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to put extra games on this.
Exactly, and that's kind of the point of it, and that's why I wanted to release 2 versions of it when I was talking to them. So I'm not actually the one doing a lot of the work on this. It's another guy on our team. I worked on the menu, but the menu. So the menu that's showing is not the real menu. It's a fake one that looks like it.
So it's a fake one that looks like the original menu. I did not know that.
It's not the real menu. So that was made by Claude. AI.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I don't have a lot of time to work on this stuff right now because I have some pinball stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise I probably wouldn't have done this. But what is I didn't know he showed up in a hoodie like that, really close to his camera. Anyway, so anyway, the menu's fake. Another guy's working on it on our team. I mostly just worked on the menu and testing it for him, and then had Claude make the UI so that we could do that.
You got to give yourself a little bit more credit. You also did some stuff with the controls as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I had to work on the controls for the other guy because he doesn't have a full cabinet. He's got like pieces of one. I can't really say much more than that, but he's got pieces of one.
He's got pieces of one.
Yeah, so like basically we traded somebody for a monitor and the PCB who was upgrading to buy things, and then we traded somebody else for the encoder and the 2-player PCB. So he had like pieces of a countercade, pieces of a 2-player one, and it's all Frankenstein together, and that's how this was developed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I saw a couple people when I posted you guys were coming on earlier. I always find this interesting. I don't think these companies can officially say anything, but I also don't think they realize like this is a really good thing. Like all the people now that were looking at these cabs being like, oh, I don't want to touch it because of the rosters. Same with the NFL blitzes where I don't want to touch it because it's not this, and that. This option was probably like the best thing that could have happened to this cab's release. The fact that you were coming around with this around the exact same time this XL cab came out. Like Team Encoder have turned this into a cab that's really good. I really like it, and I still have a lot of fun with the stock ROMs. But all of a sudden, this becomes, I'm probably definitely going to have to get WrestleFest now because of what you did.
Was there a question loaded into that statement, or?
I think he's saying thank you to you to helping the community with a really good mod that's going to hopefully push the sales of that thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I might be slightly autistic and not understand things, but no, our focus on working on this stuff, we want these companies to succeed just as much as anybody else, right? And so if this helps with selling those cabinets, maybe we'll see more XLs that aren't Sonic. I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. It's cool doing it for the community too at the same time, right? Like the Dragon's Lair fix, or because the Dragon's Lair fix, we released that and it doesn't add anything. It just applies the fix they already released.
Which is perfect. And with Blitz Blitzmas is a little bit different though, right? Because there was like a couple extra things.
That was difficult. People didn't really seem to care about late hits after they complained about it for a year.
Yeah.
It kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
You go do all that work for the late hits thing, and they're like, that's awesome. Now, how do I add like 40,000 games?
Yeah,
to this?
now how do I put this 500 gigabyte USB drive in my cabinet? It actually made a lot of the team upset. I'm not going to lie, because we don't do this for... Part of the reason we don't hack a lot of the cabinets or mod them or whatever you want to call it is because our goal isn't to give you the 10,000 game system. We don't.
No.
That's never been our goal. Like, it's to cater things, like put a few games that belong on that cabinet that maybe weren't there to do licensing. Like, a lot of my Pac-Man, I would love to just have Donkey Kong on there. It'd be cool. We know we're never going to see that, so having just that one game on there, that'd be cool.
So it's meant really to accentuate, not take over. I mean, like realistically, if people want a multicade, go get a Legends Ultimate. Like, it's not that complicated, guys.
It's just about all of it's already, a lot of us have the iArcade back here. I mean, there's so much. Just about all of us have multicades now. So why do you need all that stuff on there?
I mean, even the iArcade, a lot of people wondered why we didn't release Batacera for it, right? Because that was we had Batacera running on that cabinet. We just why? What would be the point for it? Yeah, it was a joke. That's okay. I might still buy one. I might still buy one just to run more crap on it, but it was a
Believe
joke.
me, Arcade 1-Up official, Mystery Encoder will be the first person to get a Sonic XL cab.
That's right.
That's like the peasant cabs. I think I was the only one in the community to outright go and buy them knowing that they were horrible just because. And then I posted pictures and you guys all started laughing, going like, did you really go buy those? And I'm like, I don't know. I was curious. Like, I wanted to see what was in there. Like, and it was cool to like take the screen and compare the size and stuff. But I forget where I was going, but yeah.
I also wanted to get you on to give you try to get the community to kind of give you a little bit of a break too, because you just did this huge project for people in the last little while for the Arcade 1-Up pinball. Like, a lot of people's Arcade 1-Up pinballs, unfortunately, whatever the reasoning is, like a lot of the PCBs are failing, dying. Arcade 1-Up doesn't have replacement parts anymore. So, I mean, you guys are coming out with an option to do something awesome for it, which is exactly kind of like what you did with the iArcade. You waited until it was kind of done before you ever hacked it, even though you had already hacked it like years earlier. You gave an option for it to continue after its life cycle, and that's what you're doing with the pinball. But, I mean, you are kind of inundated right now with the pinball stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, it's definitely a project that I didn't expect to be the magnitude that it is.
Yeah. So, this is one of the first time you've taken orders on anything, because, I mean, obviously it's above and beyond like a soft mod and stuff like that. How many orders have you actually received for this so far?
I don't know if I want to say that.
Okay.
A lot.
I'll tell you, it's a good amount. It's more than I expected. I'll tell you this. I expected to tap out at like around 100. It's more.
Yeah. Wow. Did you buy enough SD cards? Did you find them in bulk large enough?
You know, that you make jokes about that, but that was actually really, and me and Stock Jock talked about this. It was really a big deal because you can't buy SD cards from China. There's too much of a risk of getting counterfeits.
Yeah.
And so I had to find a supplier in the US that before they send them to me, they actually have this testing they go through, and they send me the results of the testing of each card. So like I'm able to ensure the reliability of these before I send them out. And like that, my biggest problem is when it comes to something like this, I'm a perfectionist, dude. So I can't send somebody something that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It would irritate me knowing that I sent somebody something faulty.
I think
you
a lot
order a lot more than 100 SD cards off of Amazon, right? I mean, that's kind of a little difficult too.
Yeah. I tried. I did. I even tried the business account.
I would, before we switch over to Joel here for a second, we'll have more in a bit, but I'll ask you this question, Mystery Encoder. What motivates you to do this? Like, I mean, obviously this is a ton of work you guys are doing. You're putting all this effort in to really improve people's experience, make these companies more successful. But why? Why go out of your way? Because I know you're a busy guy. You got, a ton of stuff on the go. You're like me. You've got kids. Why put all this time in for something that you're not receiving any reward from?
I think B said it best, dude. For the science,
For the science,
the curiosity. Like, it's this whole thing. A lot of people don't know this. This whole thing started with Big Buck out of everything else. Somebody on part of it there was a challenge. Somebody on Facebook said the Big Buck wasn't moddable because at the time everybody was swapping to pies.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing on the Gen 1 cabinets. And then when Big Buck came out, it was one of those first like newer cabinets. Pinball came out a little bit later. And everybody's going around saying it's not moddable, it's not moddable, it's not moddable. So I went to Best Buy that day and grabbed one and made it my personal goal to figure out a way to make the pie work in it. And then ended up getting into the PCB instead.
Yeah.
And then Pinball came out and I went, ooh, shiny.
So I don't know if you can answer this question. Do you work closely with Nostalgia? Like, do you have some kind of connection with them?
I cannot be in the same place as him at the same time.
Because you're the same person, right?
I cannot confirm or deny
like
this.
the vice president and the president.
I'll never forget.
Important.
I'll never forget. It was all the way back when Miss Pac-Man was first released, and Nostalgia was so keen to show us pictures behind the scenes of the Miss Pac-Man UI with additional games running on Miss Pac-Man Soft Modded. Like, he was so excited about that.
He never released that, by the way.
I know. I don't know why he didn't do it. I think he was worried that it would affect any potential relationship he would have with Arcade 1-Up going forward, that they may not want to work with him. And you know the way Nostalgia's mind works.
Yeah.
I don't know the way Nostalgia's mind works. I've only seen him eat bananas on live stream. No, him and I had discussions early on when he was first talking about that stuff, and I think the team that he was working with on it kind of fell apart a little bit.
Yeah.
And he kind of asked me about it, and I sort of told him we didn't have interest in Pac-Man. Going back to that whole, like, in order for us to care to, like, release something in the community, there has to be a reason for it, which is why we don't do a lot of soft mods for a lot of cabinets.
Well, with the Pac-Man originally, it was one of those cabs that unfortunately they put that forced softening filter on, so there was slightly a reason, but Arcade 1-Up eventually fixed it, right? Probably not a big enough reason for you to care.
I don't know. I didn't follow that closely enough. But, like, so T2, for instance, the reason why the whole no fate thing came about was because of T2 lagged on it.
Yeah.
Pinball was, we knew that it could do 1080p and it wasn't, right? So there's always like some starting reason behind why we start looking at it.
Well, it's like
personally, but
it's like the At Games Legends Pinball 4K. I mean, Zen Studios can run much better than what it's running on that machine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we've had this debate on your show before, actually, about the difference between hardware and the fact that they moved to Unreal Engine and all of that, and it's just unrealistic.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I think Zen made a poor business decision in the middle of that by moving to Unreal Engine, but you can't fault them at the same time because the other platforms they were targeting were more powerful. The Xbox, the PlayStation, even the Oculus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are running these flagship chips. Like the one in the VR is ridiculous. It's a Snapdragon XR2, I think, which is, if you knew the spec difference, it's like having a Walmart PC versus like something that you buy online for $5,000, as far as like the difference between the 4KP and the Oculus. Actually, do you have Walmart? Is that a Canada thing?
Walmart? Yes, we have Walmart, man.
I don't know, man. You don't even have Sam's Club. Shut up.
We don't have Sam's Club, which is an affiliate of Walmart.
Which is owned by Walmart.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So
Yeah.
screw you for me saying that you asking if you have a Walmart. Come on.
Listen, we're living large in Newfoundland now. I never need to travel again. We got a Denny's, we got a Five Guys, and now we got a Taco Bell. Like, that's pretty much the big reason I travel.
Is it ever concerning to you that there's more American brands there than there are like local Canadian brands? Like, doesn't that?
No, that's the Walmart model, man. Like times change, right? Like we have it here in Newfoundland, like especially in rural communities. When they get a Walmart, you watch every other local business that's been there for years just die because everybody just starts shopping at Walmart, right? It's what it does. Like when these big mega stores come in, big brands and stuff like that, you're excited for them, but there's an offshoot that it will eventually kill local businesses. I think the U.S. is very different because like it's fascinating to me. I'll talk to somebody who lives in the States and they're like, oh, I got to go to Costco. It's like 3 hours from me. And I'm like, my Costco is like 4 minutes from my house.
Yeah, mine's not too far. What do you know what Micro Center is though? You do?
Yes. Yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody, I forget who it was, but they were wondering why Micro Center was successful when we have Amazon and all of that stuff. And it came down to like that you still need to be able to look at this stuff up front and like be able to talk to somebody about it. I can't go into a Walmart and ask that dude if the PC's good or not, but in a Micro Center, like, yeah. So
we have hardcore computer places here and stuff like that, but they're more business oriented. So if I go in there and ask specific questions about computing for editing or anything like that, they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. But like they're all set up for business. That's about it.
So maybe that's true in Newfoundland, but Linus Tech Tips, I've seen him go into somebody's store out there.
They probably paid him $1 million to do do
But do you know who you have to know who Linus Tech Tips is?
Yes, I know who Linus Tech Tips is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Linus. We talked about it a little while ago.
About your computer.
Yeah, I'll just send him a message.
Show up and ask him. Yeah.
Actually, Glenn, right? Glenn reached out to Linus, and he was one of the people that he was like, "Hey, I'm building this FU cab. Love for you to take a look at it." Like the dude, like he's at the point where he brushed him off. Yeah, brushed him off. Like not interested. Like he's at the point.
Weird though is they looked at that knockoff that looked like the Polycade.
I think he really wanted one, and they gave him one for free. Like this is like he's a mega business, right?
So Glenn just has to make it $10,000 first, then be like, "Hey, I'll give you it for free."
Joel, listen up, Joel.
All right, so switching gears now, I want to jump in. By the way, Michael B is not the ambassador of Canada. Just saying. That's true. I'm not.
What does that even mean? What?
Who'd want to be?
Yeah, actually, the rest of Canada is not hugely favorable towards Newfoundland. Certain places aren't. Like we're viewed as like the ass of the country. Like we only joined the country in 1942. And a lot of people, especially people in the rest of the Maritimes, really don't like Newfoundlanders a lot sometimes. So it's
you're like California of Canada, or
no, I don't know the U.S. enough to really make that kind of conversation. Joe Cade wants to talk to Joel. He's only here for Joel. I'm sorry, Mr. Encoder. We're gonna switch over. Joe Cade will get mad.
Minnesota of Canada. That's what you are. Yeah,
probably right now.
Yeah.
So, Joel, I had you on a long time ago because Stockjack told me you were releasing a Robotron cab. And then you came on and you told me about the play choice. And I was like, what? Stockjack lied to me.
It wouldn't be the first time.
No, I know. But you are doing something very different in the community that a lot of people are really excited about. We've had you on a couple times now. Like the fact that none of these companies are ever going to do a Nintendo cab. That was something that was pretty obvious to us now that we're in year 7. Like it doesn't look like Nintendo's going to work with anybody. I had a minor panic attack earlier because I thought Home Arcade died because I read a report that Nintendo had purchased Bandai Namco. It turns out it's only a particular studio, not the overall company, because Pac-Man would have been locked away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, Joel, you're one of the big reasons I wanted to do this show tonight. It's part of my strategy of having Stock Jock on Super Game Room Dudes Friday, because I wanted you to come on and tell everybody about the upcoming Robotron cab. But I also wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about your business model, how everything works, and how people maybe need to be realistic about the timelines and, what you can take on, because I don't think you're not the kind of place that can take on 30, 40, 100 orders at a time. Like, you're a small shop, one person. So this is going to be a long process. So if people want them, they're probably going to have to wait to even order in a lot of times, right?
Right. That's something I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
So
It's tough, right? Because you want to
Yeah.
do everything for everybody, but
I mean,
I heard you have
I
a hard
like to
time getting
look
SD
as
cards.
professional and finished as I can. That's one of my ticks, is I like to I get into the details too, and I want everything to. I mean, I could make cabinets and really high-end multi-cage with T-molding and stuff, but I want these to blend in and look like they came off of the production floor of Arcade 1-Up. So they're edge banded and stuff like that, and half-inch MDFs, and that's all by choice, because I want to mimic the mass production, but
yeah.
in turn, that also I've had to have conversations with people messaging me and stuff, like they were kind of upset, like, oh, it's out of stock, you're no different than 1-Up. Most of their stuff's out of stock on their websites too. And it's like, well, I turned it out of stock because I took on like 50 orders and I'm one guy in my garage. And they were like, oh, really? I thought you were a big company. And so this is all I've been hobby doing this stuff for a little while now, making the risers and the stands and stuff for the last couple of years. Just within the last year, moved it to my full-time gig, but it's still out of my house, out of a garage, in a shop, one man, me, doing pretty much everything. I've brought on an intern, an unpaid intern, my wife, who she is handling sometimes. She works full time, so
Yeah.
but she's putting together like some of the hardware kits and stuff like that, where I just give her buckets, nuts and bolts and different things, and she's putting them in baggies and labels on them. And she's now handling my insurance claims for UPS, because that's something I didn't want to do, but you need to, because it's a lot of money. But I jumped into this, and you said people need to be patient, and I appreciate how patient people have been with the first orders, especially because I looked at this back in August, and I'm still working on orders from August. And I looked at it, as a one-man person, and I thought, I just built this Nintendo cab in a day. I can build cabs in a day. I should be able to build, easily 3-4 cabs in a week, and kind of estimated that out. And then, said, okay, I'll take on orders for 20, 25, and then, I'll do them in 2 months. So that was kind of my estimate at first. Well, the 2025 turned into a lot of guys reaching out, wanting, I'd add one more here, there. Pretty soon I was up to like, 40 orders for that first run when I had to finally cut it off. But the thing I've never run my own business before, and I never realized what goes into it, even just from a garage standpoint. Like, yeah, I can build a cabin one day for myself, but having the room and to stock 50 monitors, to tear apart and put together, and to stock all that wood for the MDF sheets, and to finish it, and the vinyl that goes into it and stuff, just the edge banding. It blew up really quick. And so I didn't have, we used to keep our cars in the garage. So they haven't been in the garage in like a year. I had to buy shelves, and I'm the only guy. So I got to put those shelves together, the workbenches and stuff, to really start expanding and build a business. So that slowed me down. Then there was hiccups along the way of CNCs breaking and stuff like that. And then those that are customers following along in my Discord. They've seen, you know, I've had health issues and family issues come up. I just got home from being with my parents for the last 2 weeks. My dad just had a major surgery, and so I had to turn everything off and go over and help them out for 2 weeks. Just got back and getting back at it. But so there was, didn't have any kind of business model in mind, and I was just barely, you know, scraping all this together. But I've learned a lot from the School of Hard Knocks from this first run, and I've developed a plan going forward for a business model, I think. And so I think I'm going to do smaller runs, for sure. So I'm not 50 orders out. So the plan going forward is to, like with Robotron, when we launch Robotron here in hopefully a couple months, we'll do, you know, 10 to 12 orders at a time. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to get cut off at the 12. And that way, you know, people will get their orders faster, hopefully. If any hiccups come up, it only pushes, you know, 10 orders further out rather than a whole 50.
Yeah.
People are having to wait. If I can get them out quicker and I have less people that I have to update to and keep along, because I like to be quick and prompt with, I don't want people wondering and waiting, you know, for a response. And I want to keep them as up to date as possible, but also be in the shop working and stuff like that. So less people for me to update, less stress on me to be managing, you know, 12 orders at a time, and then kind of rotating through them. So Nintendo will be put on pause and be out of stock, you know, for a round or two of Robotrons, and then open it back up and shut Robotron down for, you know, a little bit, and then, you know, do a run of Nintendos again for people, and then new cabs as well. We got a lengthy list.
Someone commented really early on my chat today. They're like, man, I feel so bad for Joel. Everybody's harassing him about making everything now. I know Cornercade apparently was harassing you about making a 6-player X-Men.
I'll listen to him.
I will
never listen to him.
If the industry lasts long enough, the hobby, and I can make it stretch long enough and do this, I will do 6-player X-Men as my last cab before I retire.
What you should do is tell Danny you're going to do a 6-player X-Men, get it all ready for him, get a show set up and said it'll be here by a certain date, and then just shut your business down and never talk to him again.
I'm off to sailing around the world now.
Yeah.
So,
I actually, one of the big reasons I had you on there, I'm in your Discord group, and I've been really excited because you've been sharing some images of like renders for what you're going to do with your Robotron cap. So far, the only thing we saw was, you know, the G.I. Joel packaging here, but you added a couple images to your website in the last little while. So here's your first render of potentially what the Robotron 2084 cab could look like, correct?
Right. Yeah. So this is built off of some of the CAD designs the CNC designs that I've put together for the side panels and the center structure. So I decided I was at my parents' and haven't had time to come up with a physical prototype yet. And I put together a rendering for people here. So, which was good because it caused a little bit of discussion in my Discord as well on just some of when we were looking at it. I posted months ago the side profile and the CAD design for the CNC, and everybody thought it looked great. But once we got it into the 3D view, people were like, oh, is it going to have that big of wings up there by the
I saw that, yeah.
our key and stuff? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I hadn't really noticed that. But so I made some tweaks and adjustments and came up with a new, you know, rendering and show people, and a lot more people were happy with it, and started to realize there was a lot more gap in the deck area and stuff than I preferred. So it was good to make it in CAD first, so then I wouldn't, or the 3D rendering, so that, you know, I wouldn't have cut and wasted stuff, and got people's feedback right away. So
yeah, you did.
That's it there.
Well, I mean, you've got a consultant you can reach out to at any time right there above you, Scott Jock, that is kind of a Robotron expert.
We probably talk almost daily. We talk.
We do.
Joel and I have become very, very good friends, and it's not because of Robotron. It's just because Joel is a great guy, and I can still to this day, remember I kept saying, Joel, you have a talent. You've got to do something with this, And I don't know if I was the main one, but I know I was one of the main people. I kept pushing him and say, this is something you have to do, because this is a gift. And for those of us who have gotten our GI Joe cabs. I've got my Donkey Kong Jr. back here. It is a beautiful, spectacular looking cabinet. And I can't wait for other things to show up, and like I said, Joel and I do talk, and, some of the things like we've been talking, I'll throw ideas at him. I'll say, hey, why don't you, instead of doing any kind of these special orders, just say, here's the Robotron cab. If you want to skin black, I'll send it to you skin black. And then you do everything else to it. Cause I don't have time for this kind of stuff. So he and I bounce things off of each other all the time. And I'm just more of a sounding board for him because he's the real genius here.
I don't know about that, but
so
yeah,
I've got a video.
Nintendo was a bit of a bigger undertaking too, because there were so many variables with it, right? All the different colors, the different games that people would want, and the different control layouts, different amount of speaker grills, different types of coin, all the way down to different types of coin doors, right? So that's another thing that kind of has pushed it out a bit. So hopefully moving forward with like Robotron, it's going to be a lot more cut and dry. It's going to be this deck. It's 2 sticks, it's going to have this coin door on it, and this monitor, and it's not a vertical or a horizontal, where even with the Nintendos there was a variance with it. So
So I want to jump in there and just talk about a couple things I like there, much like what Mystery Encoder is doing. I love the fact that you guys are focused on not coming out and doing something completely different, doing something that accentuates what people already have in their libraries. So I'm going to take James's video down now, because sometimes video messes up my stream a little bit. But I love that, the fact that you're making these to fit in with the currently existing products, so people can go out, get what they finally want in the 3/4 scale, in the format that's going to fit in with their arcade. Now, I have heard some people say they would love to see an XL version later on down the line. Why the focus on deluxe over XL?
Mostly, it's more, my strategic mind, I think, looking at it, I'm looking at where the biggest market probably is at the moment. I know a lot of, I've been in the riser business, and I know people, that are wanting, things increased by 1 inch or decreased by 1 inch to have all their
that's my wife
level, right? So I can only imagine there's lots of people that don't want an XL sitting next to their deluxe, and vice versa. But there's a whole lot more 3/4 and deluxe out there than there are XLs. And I get the reason why people want the XLs for the bigger space. But also, I think the majority of the people that are using these, they don't have, if they're anything like me, they don't have friends, and they don't have anybody over here that they're playing with. So
well,
there's plenty of room for me in front of it.
I got a 12 by 12 room here. That's it. That's a whole space that I've been allocated. Okay. I don't have space for a big giant XL. I've got one in here, and the thing takes up a lot of room, and it's just, it's a premium spaces.
Yeah, I think honestly, those people, as much as you would love to cater to everybody, they need to be pragmatic about this and realistic. Again, one person, making very identified product. If there is time and there is demand later on, maybe it's something you can focus on. But right now, the focus is on getting out what you originally have out before you'd focus too much on doing anything else right now. Really quickly, $10 super chat from Vic Vicious. Thank you very much, Vic. Joel, I'm getting DK and Robotron from you. During your regular orders, will you ever take single order requests? Like if I wanted a Yi-Er Kung Fu or Q*bert or G.I. Joe or my Afterburner cough. Thank you very much for the super chat. I think this is something else we wanted to talk about as well. It's so hard to have these conversations with people about special orders because you're doing everything you can just to keep up with the orders that are out there right now. What do you think the best way for people to, if they want something specific, to kind of, voice that opinion? And is there a way that, like, if you are going to do another project, people can kind of engage with you in, a constructive manner to kind of move that forward?
Yeah. Stock Chuck, can you share your email address?
I was gonna say you should put Matt in charge of your customer support. He'd just be like,
Yes,
sir.
there you go.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Oh man, I'd be working on everything.
Yeah.
That's a golden idea. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Can you do Yi Kung Fu? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can you do the Excel?
Because
Yes, sir.
because Vic gave you $10, I can say that a good number of those are on my short list. Sorry, you probably won't be getting a Yi Kung Fu anytime soon. Maybe just before Danny gets his 6-player X. But and I wouldn't even rule out Afterburner. That's kind of one of my like Mystery Coder. I like the challenge of things, especially looking at things that it's like nobody. That almost looks ridiculous for a company to mass produce, yet alone somebody in his garage with limited access to tools and stuff. But I see it more as a challenge, and I'm like, I could make that. And I would be lying if I said that the designs haven't already been started for Afterburner.
Wow.
Because it's just one of those things that has intrigued me and pulled me in. Now, will it come out anytime soon? I don't think so, but I'm picking away at it. And I've, looking at how I could best do it and reaching out to some of my buddies and stuff, lining up tools and getting access to things and making sure that I have the access to the things I need in order to make it. And I think it's very doable. So
just don't do the Glenn thing and go with a dainty flight stick. Like, you got to get a meaty flight stick in there, something that feels good in the hand.
For sure. Now get Glenn's Viper on there.
No. I'm talking about the flight stick. The flight stick. Glenn's
I heard you.
Is,
yeah, I'm talking about Glenn's Viper.
Oh, I think you're talking about a different Viper than the one I'm thinking.
Maybe.
Chaotic brings up a really good point. Danny, you told everyone you only have 3 friends. What do you need a 6-player X-Men for? Fair point.
I have an important question, Joel, though. Did you find SD cards for all the cabinets you're making?
I have, but luckily, I haven't had to go shopping for more than 100 at a time yet. I'm at like less than 50.
That's actually a question. How do you obtain the wood in bulk for this? Do you just go to Home Depot and?
That's how it started off, for the risers and stuff, and it escalated quickly. It used to be there was one Lowe's in the greater West Michigan area that had half-inch MDF that I'd be driving to. And I had car problems at the time too. So I was like driving this mini, tiny tin can Chevy Cobalt and having them cut it down at the store and trying to squeeze it in the back.
Yeah.
So, but luckily I found a local lumber yard that was willing to special order it for me.
Oh, okay.
And it was coming in. Yeah. But they went out of business unexpectedly. And then the sales rep, the company that they got kind of merged into, told me that they could still order it. And lo and behold, they were willing to deliver it too. So I wasn't having to go to the local lumber yard and load it up and unload it. Now I just place an order for like 15 sheets at a time. They pull up in a big old box truck with 2 guys. They unload it for me. I don't have to touch a thing. I just tell them where to put it. I have them put it in my paint booth, and it's ready to go. So it all kind of worked out pretty well.
The reason I asked there is because when I was doing my haunted house, I remember my buddy's more familiar with wood than I am, so he might have a certain sexual preference. But no, so I remember he was telling me though that you have to pick out like a certain quality. Like when you go there, he's like, no, this one's trash, and he's like sorting through it. And so I can just imagine you trying to make these cabinets and dealing with the frustration that not a lot of people are probably aware of, that there are actually bad sheets of wood that are like either stained or cracked or they have problems. And
And
so what you
luckily,
start
like
with-
MDF doesn't have as much because it's sheets and it's compressed, paperboard almost. But no, but then you still on the bottoms you get forklifts, and stuff that are moving these big pallet or sheets around that are scratching the bottoms of them and chipping up the corners. So
got it.
there is, especially when they arrive, it's kind of like I didn't have a choice looking at them, in the store either.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But a half inch is hard to find too. It's the 3/4 or
I think it's
5/8
pretty
is
easy to
more
find. My
common.
wife said she had a lot of that before me, but
Yeah.
Bad wood is the root of the problem, MG says. I don't disagree. So,
Luckily,
guys,
I live in West Michigan, where we have like 3 or 4 of the world's largest furniture manufacturing companies, and so a lot of the MDF is actually manufactured right down the road from me.
Oh, nice.
I found
There you
out.
go.
So
nice.
if I start getting big enough orders, I might be able to have them, start finishing the outsides for me rather than me having to like paint these things black and seal them off so that, vinyl will stick to them. And there's a ton that goes into just prepping the sheets. So
Yeah. So, you talked earlier about, hey, I'm going to be more pragmatic about this. I'm going to take lower orders. And then you're like, if I ever get big enough.
yeah. I don't know if I'll ever get there either.
Yeah.
I'm not
So,
looking to become a arcade 1-up or a basic fun or something. And I started off, I'm a hobbyist. I want to see all these companies succeed too, just like you guys, even though I guess maybe I'm a little bit of a competitor, but I'm a tiny drop fish in the water compared to them. But
unless you
I
make
wanna see 'em
Pac-Man or Sonic, you're not a competitor.
I want to see them succeed.
I think
so. I'm trying to look at the things that they probably can't do, and I can
Exactly.
offer, like the Nintendo. I saw why they couldn't do it, and I'm not trying to get it into Best Buy or Walmart's, who won't sell an unfinished cab to people. They want a finished product.
I don't know about that. That's kind of a false statement.
So you guys got parts of a WrestleFest?
Yeah, and Arcade 1-Up says, we love what you were doing, Jules. Super cool stuff and appreciate the dedication to the hobby.
Do you see this? They're allowed to show him appreciation, but not me. What the fuck? That's
what I love about what you guys are doing. You're not doing something in contrast to them, putting them down in any way. Like, you're doing cool stuff that accentuates the hobby. For a long time now, we've wanted new products to come out, and it's been a long time coming. Basic Fun is moving in the right direction. I think it's going to take a while for them to get there with Arcade 1-Up now. And the cool thing is, you gave us hope in a time where we didn't have a lot of hope, with new products that are probably never going to come out from some of these companies. You are putting stuff that is keeping people's fire alive while they're waiting for these companies to deliver something else to them that they want. And I really appreciate that personally. I mean, the Nintendo cab,
I do too.
Something we thought we were never going to see. And Robotron, like me and Stockjack are very special in this. We think there's a possibility eventually Robotron will probably be on an Arcade 1-Up cab, but that cab will probably be a Smash TV cab, probably with 4 joysticks. So, if it wasn't for you, I don't know if we'd ever get a dedicated Robotron cab done the way we wanted. So, it's very cool what you're doing. It's not in competition. If anything, it completely accentuates what they're doing, and it makes the hobby awesome. And it's the same thing.
That was a bit of the struggle for me to move forward with Robotron. The only reason I'm doing Robotron is because Stockjack. He's done a lot for me, and he
I want one too.
So everybody out there, thank me. Don't thank anybody else.
You only make 10. I better be one of those pre-orders.
See, it's funny. It's so funny that people, you bring that up, Mr. Encoder. You say, if you're only going to make 10, I've heard that probably 100 times.
If you're only going to make 10, make 11. One for me, please.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that he thinks that he's only going to sell 10. I'd say, nay, you are incorrect, my friend.
But I've heard this talk, of Arcade 1-Up wanting to do or thinking about doing Robotron and considering it, and Eugene Jarvis, saying that he was kind of on board with it and stuff. So I was hesitant to want to step into that, because if they got deals and stuff, but it looked like, it just really wasn't anything that was ever going to come to fruition. So
from what I understood, They were trying to work on it. John D was, from a licensing perspective. The big problem was one with Robotron. And I remember iArcade had met with Eugene Jarvis when we went to the iArcade launch. I talked to Michael Svrebeck, and he said they met with Eugene Jarvis and talked about Robotron being on there because no one knew who owned it. They weren't sure if Eugene owned it. They weren't sure if WB owned it. And WB basically were saying, we don't care if we own it. We're not going to spend the money to find out if we own it. So we can't license it. So from what I understand, what John D told me in the background was he actually did the work and found out who owned it so they can move forward and license it. But I mean, I think, call a spade here. I don't think they're going to do Robotron. I think they're going to do Smash TV. Exactly. And I don't blame them because I think there's more people in the community who want that. So I'm happy for them. But me personally, I mean, I want a Robotron.
I don't know. I'd probably argue the opposite. From all the requests I've gotten from Robotron, I have not gotten like a single request for Smash TV. So
I think I kind of agree with him.
Seems like the community. I was surprised because I never knew what Robotron was until I met Stockjock. So, and then when I played it, I was like, man, I wish I didn't know what Robotron was. Like, why would anybody want to play this game?
It's so good, so addictive. Arcade One Up, really quickly, Mystery Encoder. Arcade One Up kind of agrees with you. This is what you're going through too. Yep. Everybody wants everything. Yep. It's true.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, I think maybe this is a good time to say too, when we're talking about the licensing and stuff, because what you're going to get from me is a Robotron cabinet that's ready to go for you to provide that Robotron ROM that you've been sitting on all these years, that you've had, that you purchased legally, and you can put it right into my cab and be ready to go. So just to make that clear, but it will come with a cool Raspberry Pi that has G.I. Joel skin theme on it and stuff like that. Be ready to go just for you to drop that in. And basically all the same, it comes in a flat pack box. You put it together like a 1-up and you add your ROM and hit the ground running. So yeah.
That's right. Nobody here is dishing out ROMs or doing anything untoward. No. You're just enabling people to use their own ROMs. Like, me and Stockjock obviously have the original.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, P-Dubs is not on this live stream.
I think we lost Mike.
No, am I back?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I back?
Weird.
You're back. We're back,
that was
baby.
Really weird.
Well,
but yeah, the thing that allows me to probably do this is there isn't any design patents on shapes of cabs, so it's kind of free reign, but also I'm not tracing these, so the deluxe scale is not a 1-to-1 scale. You have to kind of make some adjustments and, concede things here and there. So I'm basically designing this thing, it's all my design that's inspired by the Robotron or inspired by the Nintendo. So I try to get the proportions to look as best as I can, so it looks appropriate, but still, kind of a skinny stretched cab. But yeah, that's how I'm able to kind of do what I'm doing, because I'm making a cool wooden box, right? At the end of the day. Right.
It's just a box.
It's just a box with a TV in it.
Really quickly before we go, because I know those guys are starting, but there's
can you
something
pull
else.
Up the monitor real quick?
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
Okay, good.
Something else really cool you're doing.
Yeah.
That I don't know if everybody's aware about, but this is fascinating. So this is kind of really quickly too. B Kirby gifted 20 memberships. Thank you very much, B Kirby. But how the hell did this happen? This is something we've seen from the smaller arcade companies, like Quarter Arcades got into it a little bit, but New Wave Toys really got into it. G.I. Joel LED CRTs. Tell us a little bit about this, Joel.
Yeah, so this was one of the things that kind of came out of some of the delays with Nintendo. So the people that haven't got their cabs yet, bonus for you, you're getting these rather than the Arcade 1-Up clones that I kind of was doing before. And so part of it started off, I wanted to give something that looked just like an arcade 1-up. So I was trying to copy their design, but it was slowing me down. It was kind of a pain in the butt for me the way that I was making it. And I kind of had this idea in my head for this type of design. And I realized that it could probably speed things up and be a little bit easier for me as well. So I toyed around with this and flushed it out, and it speeds things up. But I think, at least personally, and so the feedback I've gathered so far from everyone is that they really love it and like it, because it looks a little bit more like a CRT, having that bezel and everything on it. So yeah, and along with it, I've discovered better monitors to go along with it. BOE LG monitors that have HDMI out built right into them, and it's a 5:4 ratio. So yeah, before we were having to convert VGA signal and different things like that, and it was kind of a crapshoot of what kind of monitor was going to be going in it. But these are really nice BOE LG monitors. So a lot of progress along the way. Development, I just made the Nintendo cab out of my garage, and so there's a lot of things that as they got out, I didn't even consider the fact that people needed to know how to put these things together when they got to their house, right? I knew how it goes together. Shouldn't everybody else? But I think Stock Jock can attest. You open this thing up, and there's like 100 pieces sitting in front of you, and and none of them look like a 1-up piece, So it's like, how do they go together? So I had to develop instructions and stuff to walk people through how these things go together.
And you don't think of.
No, yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't think of. So, but in turn, I got a lot of feedback from people too on this doesn't make sense. How do we do this? So updating the instructions too, because I got a little bit of ADD and stuff like that. So the end of the instructions were less detailed and less flushed out than the beginning, because I just kind of got to the point where it's like, just ship it. They'll figure it out, right? They should have the gist of it by now when they get to the end.
Well, guys, I don't want to go too much longer because Kangzeros and Carl are starting now soon. We got a $5 super chat from Mike MC5221. He's super excited about your Robotron cab. Bowing to Joel, Robotron cometh. Thank you very much for the super chat. And mainly, I wanted to just give both of you guys your flowers here tonight. That was the idea. Give a chance for the community to say thank you for what you're doing. Obviously, Joel, we're very excited for the Nintendo cab. Now, with Robotron coming, there's at least 4 of us who are excited, hopefully more. So we'll see how that goes. And Team Encoder, thank you as always for the amazing work that you guys are doing. Because of you, now I can take what's a really good WrestleFest cab and turn it into the perfect cab with the right ROMs, and that's something that you guys aren't charging for, or just doing for the sake of doing it, for science, like you said earlier.
Wait, we're allowed to charge for that? That was the thing? People would pay for this?
Well, someone did ask on one of the shows. They were like, how much is this?
Yeah, no. Never.
You've already sold out on us now, you're charging for the pinball thing, so why not just go full on?
Yeah.
Steer into the curve, right, Mike?
We're just the store now. No, I could never, dude. If it's not necessary, there's no reason to. Sorry. Go forward, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries. We also got a $19.99 super chat from our buddy Joe Cade, Emmy, and Joel. Godsends to this community. I could not agree more. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat, Joe Cade. Greatly appreciated. Guys, thank you so much for everything you do. You guys are awesome, and because of that, Home Arcade is a little bit more awesome because of you. So I just wanted a chance to say thank you and talk about the great stuff you're doing. That LED CRT TV, Joel, like something you totally didn't have to do, an upgrade that no one was even asking for, but just makes the product so much better. And it's a prime example of everything that you guys are doing, making something that just perfectly accentuates the existing products out there and takes it to the next level. So thank you so much. And I owe Bcon $2 for using his catchphrase.
I want to say that I think every YouTuber except for you, because they've shown us a lot of support in using our mods as we release them. You being he who does not mod. Stock Jock, for instance, I believe modded the Fast and the Furious, or no, James did. Stock Jock, what did you mod? You modded your IRK. I know that.
I did the Terminator, and I also
There
did,
you go.
I did the Dragon Slayer fix.
See, so I can't show you support, Mike. You didn't support us. Maybe with
And-
in
us
Mike's
things
defense,
that,
though,
but
have you ever sent him anything, Mystery Encoder?
I send him stuff all the time. I go, Mike,
Got to
do
send
this.
him stuff for
Mike,
free.
mod this. Yeah, it's all
Hey,
free. It's free for everybody.
That's not true. I did was part of the beta for the 4KP VPX.
Did you ever mod your iArcade?
I'm working on it.
He's got
That
a
is-
lot of stuff to do, okay?
That is
You
something.
might-
uh,
By the way,
I
Mike,
like-
I'll tell you. I was gonna say this real quick. By the way, Mike, and that is I am so excited about like what these guys are doing. Like we had Mystery Encoder on our show a couple weeks ago. On the show, I actually bought a Star Wars one-up pinball during the show, and I was trying to get the guy down. And he goes, "No, there's some guy named Mystery Encoder who's coming out with a this new little deal that you can put in there." He goes, I'm not taking any less than what it is. And so, yeah, these guys have been, this whole community needs to just thank these guys for all the work they've been putting in.
Yeah,
No,
for
but
real though,
I
Mike,
mean-
I do want to give you all of you guys in this community a thank you for giving us a platform on YouTube, because obviously that's not something we've ever wanted to do ourselves.
Right.
So it's nice to have you guys host it and sort of do that back and forth and have that ability without starting our own channel.
Well, you're welcome. Obviously, it's a great relationship. You give us content, and we like talking about cool stuff you're doing.
And to add and build onto that, it's nice to be appreciated and all the, thanks I do get, and people, emailing me all the time, thanking me for making this cool stuff. But, I was just thinking about it the other day while my shop was shut down and I'm over at my parents', and things have been paused for a couple of weeks and getting further behind, but just the support and love that everybody has given me. I truly thank the community and love this community. There are a lot of great people out there that I couldn't be doing this and trying to do a full-time thing out of it, and right now enjoying what I love and what I do without the support of the community. I'm not running any ads or anything. This has been a Facebook, or it's been a website only thing where people are coming to my website. I'm not on a Shopify platform or Etsy or anything. So I'm not getting any form of advertisement, but it picks up every, month to month, every year. I'm doing better than the previous year. And it all is, word of mouth, you guys on YouTube, and people in the community. I come across, posts all the time that I didn't even know. Don't even know who this person really was. And, they're sharing, their builds and their mods and getting other people. So thank you. I appreciate everybody.
That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Mystery Encoder, I promise you, I will do this mod. We've already talked about this. We figured it out. I do it out of necessity, not because I just want to add a bunch of stuff. We covered this.
He's going to do it before he retires. That's
Yes.
his
So
player actor.
really quick, the running inside joke right now is D-Mod is a member of our team. He's the one that sent you guys pizza before when you were out in Chicago, I think it was,
Yeah.
whatever. I sent him one of the pinball kits. He has an arcade one-up pinball. He held on to it just because we were doing this. He sold all of his stuff and went straight real pinball. He put it on his stove and left it there. So the running joke in our testing group is that it's just sitting there. So it's going to make the joke that you had your arcade board sitting on the stove, but you wouldn't have got it without that context.
See, no, my IRK board, including the long cable to plug it in and all that stuff, is sitting on my IRcade, waiting for me to have enough free time to sit down and figure out how to do the mod. B-Kong sent me everything. I got everything I need to do. It's just a matter of actually sitting.
You got to
down
give
and
him a free trip to Canada to do it for you. That's all.
It's so easy now, Mike B. It's so easy to do now.
Yeah, all jokes aside, I'm telling you right now, one time B-Kong actually, what is it? He got into my PC and actually set up my VPX broke on my old ALP, and he actually had to monitor in and reset it one time. So don't make too many jokes about that.
That's hilarious.
Anyways, guys, you guys are awesome. I think Jason shared it out about Team Encoder, what they're doing. Also, G.I. Joel, Stock Jock, every Wednesday on Arcades Anonymous. And if I haven't already, Alan Jones asked earlier, I sent a link to Carl and Kongzera's stream, so you guys can go check that out after this one. And don't forget to go to G.I. Joel's website and be patient. Keep checking for when the orders come available. He's only one person. Clearly, he doesn't have a business plan. He needs some administrative help. I'll talk to him a little bit about that in the background. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. And we'll see you next time on Chill and Chat with Michael B. Good night, everybody. You know, MG could be nicer. He really could.
Nah, not